play for the right to win championships, and Friday night against Clinton, Tupelo has that opportunity with the win. You win the division, Coach. 9-0, 5-0 in the division after the 42-6 win against Murrah, and now Clinton. Wow, what a game.
It's here. Excited to get to do it here. It's a big game, best team that we've played all season. They're a very tough program. Big, physical, fast. You wouldn't want it any other way.
Right.
I mean, you're playing for all the marbles in your division this week, and they get to come here. It's exciting. They win. They basically win the division. We win the division. Home field advantage is huge, especially in our division this year. So big game. The expectations are high. We're excited about it.
7 o'clock kickoff, and of course last week 42-6 win against Murrah and South Jackson. You were, not really worried about that game, but you knew that after 3 huge games that could somewhat be a trap game. But I didn't feel like that was.
I think it kind of came down to our opponent on that. I hate to say that, but I got to be honest with that. Our guys, I think I was proud that they kind of went. We didn't start out fast. We didn't play well. You win 42-6, and you have a running clock in the first half. You feel like you should be playing well. We really didn't, and that's why I told them, let's get the job done, so we can focus on Clinton going forward and start working towards him. And so the biggest thing is, guys, don't let this game and our opponent and their style and the way we play affect us next week.
Right.
Because we've been playing at high level, and now we have to drop off to an opponent that's totally opposite. And is it going to affect us? We're going to use it as a week for us to get crisper and all that. But I thought the week of practice went well. I think the way we played at the beginning is the fact that we had to go 3.5 hours on a trip on a bus.
Right.
And that we had to get off, and it's not the ideal atmosphere. It's not what our kids are accustomed to. But we got out of there quick, got it done, and we're playing for the marbles this week.
Not only was it in Jackson, it was in South Jackson. And it wasn't the easiest place to get to. You got to go through a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of 2-lane roads. So completely understand that. And, Coach, you had a tough week last week. Former player Sam Westmoreland passed away, who was playing at Mississippi State. You guys honored him with Sam on the back of your helmets, and then you had a picture of him that the captains brought out prior to the game. How tough was that for your players and your staff?
They're definitely tough. When we broke the news Wednesday about everything, the guys I've never really heard that group of guys that quiet, that just, because they were really close with
Right.
him. And, Sam was an unbelievable young man, person, had an impact on a lot of those guys in the locker room that he played with. And so it definitely affected him. I think it affects adults more than it affects anybody, because kids are pretty dang resilient.
Right.
Right. The next day at practice, we had somebody come and speak to the team. We had all the moms and dads after practice kind of form a line for the guys and give them high fives and hugs. But our guys the whole time were like, Coach, man, we know Sam would want to be practicing and playing football.
Right.
We're here to get better and enjoy this. Because we know this is what we got going on special.
Right.
And so I'm proud of the way they turned it around. And this week, they've done a good job. We have a funeral this week for him, and so they've done a really good job by focusing and honoring him by their actions.
Right.
Having fun out there on the practice field, having good energy, being positive with each other, competing, and that's what's been special. Young men are resilient people, and they kind of handle it better than adults do. And so they're doing everything they can to honor him by how they live.
Awesome. Looking forward to this week against Clinton. Coach, the AP poll came out yesterday. Tupelo's ranked number 1. I didn't even look past the top three to see where Clinton's at, but I know it's going to be a top 15 matchup.
Probably top five. I
Top
think they're
five.
top five, top six, somewhere in there.
I don't know the last time Tupelo was ranked number one, and I know coaches don't really put much stock into those because you're more worried about where you finish at the end of the season. But I would think that's a pride thing too, to see the respect. It shows how far this program's come.
I mean, I think it obviously we're getting noticed, and some people actually think that we are legit. Tupelo's had a bad persona in the past of, hey, they're gonna get to the playoffs and lose first round, or once they play a team that's legit, they'll win all these games, but they play somebody with some substance that they won't come through. I think that's one of our core values that I brought here is it's a wave mentality. It's there's a lot of people that don't like us outside of Tupelo, and there's a lot of people around this. There's people outside of Tupelo around this area that don't like us. And I've told our guys every week. I said guys, and Coach Shute, he's the first one that said it. I remember him telling the defense one day, because we might have been kind of feeling ourselves or something. He said, guys, there's so many people that cut on the TV Friday night that are wanting to see a Tupelo loss. He said, you keep proving them wrong. And I thought that was great. I mean, it's great, and it goes back to exactly what we talked about. Our wave mentality is, nobody likes us, what are we going to do about it?
Right.
Right. And have that approach of like, hey, man, it's for some reason they don't. It's because we're the biggest school, because we're having a great town. There's a lot of some preconceived notations, and and I want them to flip it as a positive, because everybody gets after us, and I love it, and I want our guys to love it, and so I keep them. Hey, don't read the rat poison. Keep getting after them, and keep proving them wrong, because there's guys out there. I try to pull up something every week. I say, you see this guys out there saying, hey, they'll fall against Clinton this week. Tupelo can't do it. I mean, that's it. And so I like to rub it in our guys' faces to give them some motivation.
Speaking of Clinton, last year, probably as tough of a loss as you could have, came down to a field goal at the end. Not only did we lose, but it kicked us out of the playoffs.
Definitely the toughest loss of the season last year. The way it happened, we went down there, we played really well. I didn't say we played well. Both teams competed really hard. And it come down to, a last second field goal. I thought we were kind of evenly matched in two of the phases. We kind of lost in the special teams phase, and a young guy made a 47-yard field goal at the end. I've gone back and watched it over and over times. We have one guy step this way through a gap. He probably blocks it when we return it for a touchdown. And we'd been great on blocking field goals last year. But that's one thing I have a meeting every Monday with our team. And we give a PowerPoint about, review last week, but also moving forward to this week, what we got to do to be great. And the last video clip was that video clip. And seeing the guys dejected laying on the ground. And just, you see Fred Adams falls to his knees and puts his head in the ground. You see Zach Pratt just walk around like this. I mean, you see all these guys I was like, guys, remember how that felt, okay? Remember how that felt. And I can say a lot of our success, and definitely a portion of our success that we've had this year and the work that we've put in this offseason goes back to that moment. And just tell them, guys, remember what got you here. Remember that moment, that feeling you had, that, hey, we didn't make the playoffs, and what came out of that moment of all season. We heard from everybody, and I heard from everybody, Tupelo's not real, that's who they are. They don't have any good coaches, their players are soft, all that stuff. Just, and so it's just remember what that did for us. And I think our guys have used it as motivation all off season, and we want to use it this Friday night to win.
The physicality of that game was something else. There were some big hits in that game, and it was just to grind it out. It was a fun high school football game to watch because every play seemed to matter. Personnel-wise, do they have a lot of those guys back from last year on this team?
So going into this season, I knew Clinton. I thought us and Clinton were going to be two teams that nobody's talking about.
Right.
They better watch out for. And Clinton was returning a lot of guys. So their O-line and D-line is big as physical as anybody we've seen this season. I mean, their D-line, man, they got 3 D linemen that are like college D linemen. I mean, their nose guards 6'3", 330 pounds. Their DNs are both 6'3", 6'4", 270. Big guys that are really well. They're so athletic on the back end. Their O-line, their 2 tackles are both 6'4", 6'5", 280. And, you know, they have a running back. It's a 230-pound battering ram with a quarterback that can fly. So, I mean, yeah, they return. They were like us. They were a pretty young team. If you look at their roster, about every position that's a starter says senior back. So they're a senior-heavy team, veteran team, and I knew they were going to be that good this year going into the season. And you know, it's like you said, it's both teams have gotten a lot better in the off season, and which team has gotten, you know, I guess, how would you say it? Not the most better, but has made the most improvements, but also too, which team wants it more?
Right. One of the things throughout the years, we've had a lot of blowout wins, and it's given us opportunities to play a lot of people. At this point of the season, how big is that you've been able to give a lot of guys some playing time that, had it been closer games, probably would not have gotten into?
Well, it has been great because we finished our JV season about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you know, and so those guys were getting some experience playing time wise there, and now when their season's over with, it's easy for those guys to kind of cut it off,
right?
You know, and especially if you're having a season that's not been successful, those guys are like, man, I might miss out on practice, or man, I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to get through practice,
right,
and not get better. Well, I'm not seeing that. Our guys, we're 9-0 right now, and so guys that are JV guys that are playing scout team, they're taking ownership of, hey man, I'm getting better right here.
Right.
I'm going against some of the best. Going against some of the best in the state right here, and my opportunity is going to be where they're at in a few years, and I'm going to want the guys in my position to give it their all. And I'm seeing that every day, and that's one thing I think our coaches have done a great job this season. And I when we specifically do, we coach our scout teams harder than we coach
the
regulars, because we want them to give them the perfect look, and we want them to go as hard as they can against it. So I specifically, when at practice, I'm gonna coach the scout team offense. I'm gonna help coach scout team. I'm gonna coach a group up, and we're challenging them. I mean, and so when they get there on Friday night, and then we're getting these blowouts and stuff, and they're getting in. I mean, it's been great for them to go in there and get some game reps, and we can see what guys can do for sure.
Well, and it's also a reward for all their hard work and practice too.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You've probably seen a kid that you hadn't recognized on the field on the special teams week to week, and like, man, I've never seen that number 46 or 45 or 24. Well, he's sprinkled in on the special team because he's had a great week of practice, and he's done what he's supposed to do, and we feel good about putting him out there.
We're pretty healthy going down the stretch.
As healthy as we've been all season, healthier than we've been in the past 2 weeks. So we're trending that way health-wise, and hope to stay healthy and keep getting healthier. Right now, we've only got one guy out, and that's the guy that's been out all season, and Jabari Dooley, and he should be back in the next few weeks.
Nice. 7 o'clock Friday night, and then next week for the Germantown game.
Thursday night.
It is a Thursday night game, 7 o'clock, November the 3rd. So put that on your calendars. Coach, good luck this week. Can't wait for Friday night kickoff to get here. And for Coach Ty Harden, I'm Greg Ellis. This is Gridiron Tape. We'll be back next week.